Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to How Love Bites. My name's Dennis. I'm here with my co-host, Steve. Steve's going to look at us. There it is. I knew it was coming. Okay. We got an interesting show for you today. And our show is about the trauma of abuse. And we know that men suffer from it, and women, obviously, because of their gender, have a tendency to suffer more and to be abused probably a little bit more than men are. So I'd like to address a copy of what we're going to be covering. So I'd like to say that I never really understood that most women have a sort of trauma related to a man, because a lot of the trauma in their life is man related. Okay. Whether it's a dad or a past relationship, physical abuse, emotional abuse, whatever it may be. So because of that, I understand that the number one thing above anything else and everything else, at least in my opinion, is that women crave is safety. So they are looking for safety. And if you can provide safety in a relationship for them, you're more than halfway home, because that's what I believe every woman desires, is to know they're safe, because then they can come out and they can play. Then they can come out of the cocoon. They don't have to hide and be reserved and just say, oh, I'm a little afraid to say that or do that or be that. So I think safety is a big one. And also the feeling safe and protected around a man is real important. And that's why being strong, physically strong, and being mentally and emotionally strong is very reassuring to them, to women. So, and because I think if she knows that if the shit hits the fan, okay, he's there. He can take care of it. He can handle it for me. And if he really, really loves you, and I'm going to suggest something, okay, when you're involved in a relationship with someone, and when they least expect it, I would ask them, would you ever consider taking a bullet for me? You love me enough. You love me to take that kind of hit, or are we on the way to that kind of relationship? But if a guy tells you unequivocally, I take a bullet for you, that's your guy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's your guy.
So Dennis, let me jump in for a sec. So today's show is really important from two angles. One, for the man, we're going to try to flesh this out a little bit more to make sure that they understand the ladies, because once they do, they're going to know the key to being that bedrock. And that doesn't mean they're going to take over everything for the woman. It doesn't mean they're going to be everything, but we want the man to know what most women expect. We've done some research, and there's a lot of psychology and stuff behind this. And then for the ladies as well. This show is kind of an acknowledgement. What you're saying is, we know that trauma is very common. It's a very commonly used word at this point. Trauma is a big deal, and there's a big difference between the sexes, is what you're saying. Is, of course, ladies are the fairer sex, so more times than not, the victims are women, not always. But for a man to really achieve that bond, what you're saying, we've said it before on this show, women really crave love and caring and that sort of thing. Men kind of crave love and respect. Women want love and security. They want more of the security, the safety side of it. So I think what you're saying is, once that's achieved both ways, this upward spiral is going to be achieved, and that's been my experience. Then their guard is going to come down, and that's how
really they want to be and who they bring to the table. They're free. They're no longer shackled.
Self-actualization. Yeah.
Redemption. That's what it really is. It's a redemption. When they know they're safe, here they come. It's good. It's a beautiful thing. So, so if she knows that this man can protect me, and I know he can keep me safe, and once that safety is achieved, then I feel like the walls could come down, and that really is basically it. Because you want the walls down, because you want to know who you have there. You want to know the real McCoy. So and then the vulnerability shows up, and there's more openness. And that truly is where the magic is. That's when your relationship will really either fly or crash and burn,
Right.
And it's,
So, so the souls to connect and interweave, that's what we're saying is really needed. Now, can I ask a question?
Yeah, well, we got one more sentence if you like.
No way. You're the boss.
Let me just fire away this last one. So that's where the magic happens. But they also create the ability to surrender completely, because a woman wants to surrender to you. She wants to know that this guy's got my back. He's got my front. He's got all sides. And they want to be free to be able to say what they want to be, who they are, rather than being on edge all the time. Because society puts us on edge, especially for women. They're completely always coming out with some sort of either method or device or thing to watch out for, body language in a person. And so everybody's walking around on eggshells. So let them come out, let them be who they are, and let them surrender and be in that relationship after all. And that's it. So that's really all I wanted to say. So.
Okay. I got a question, and this is ripped from the pages of my own experiences. So maybe you'll help out, and maybe people in our audience will be helped out along the way. I had a theory for a while after a very long marriage, which, had the blessings of children and all that. I don't have any regrets, but I've been out of that, and then I'm back out in the real world, newer to it than you are, as we've talked about. And I reference back, everyone probably remembers in college or high school learning about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's a pyramid, and it builds up from the bottom, physiological needs, which is, food and water and warmth and rest, and then safety is next, probably in my mind on the same level, security, safety, watching out for threats, and then belongingness and love needs. And so you're moving from basic to psychological needs, and self-esteem. And then the top of the pyramid, we were always taught, was self-actualization. So that's achieving one's full potential. And that's what you were talking about, is once that connection is made in a relationship, once a woman feels secure and all that, then they can self-actualize. Because I got to tell you, for a lot of men, the ladies they're a riddle wrapped in an enigma, surrounded in a mystery, right? They're hard to decode. I think it takes a lot of experience, and I think we're all still learning. I think a lot of ladies would admit that too, and they would probably say the opposite. You men are just so simple, right? We've talked about that. The women are mysterious, the men are simple. Here's my question, though, Dennis. For you are the expert. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to ask you right now. I'm going to ask you this question. So I had a couple of experiences where I thought, okay, Steve, you're a smart guy. You know what this Maslow's hierarchy of needs are. And I, with a couple different ladies over time, thought I found someone who had a need where their basic needs weren't yet provided for, either through their own jobs or through whatever. And so I work with them on that. I thought, well, hey, once they have food and safety and shelter, which usually means like they're in between apartments or looking for a new house, but they feel discombobulated. And once they're in a safe area, you get them in an area where they can feel safe, whether you're there or not, and you can help provide that. Then those other things grow. But I have to tell you, I still think that theory is correct. But where I think I failed, I was 0 for 2 on these, was that these ladies, I learned from talking to other ladies after the fact, even when those basic needs were met, what I learned is women are very smart and interesting creatures. They don't want you to come in and try to fix the rest of their life. There's some basic things they're looking for, but they really don't want a fixer. Am I right? They don't want a fixer. They have their life, and it was really a woman in her late 50s who explained this to me in such an articulate way. She said, Steve, a woman's life may look like, from the outside, it may look like a daily car crash or a daily train wreck every day, but it's their life. It's their life. And so there's a balance in here. Tell me about your experience. Where is that balance? And because the hierarchy of needs, I think, is valid, and I think what you said is valid, but it's kind of like, how do you know? Is that lady's advice to me? Would you agree with it? I mean, a man's got to figure out how far to go in trying to be a provider and security and fixer, but then the women also have to signal to us what they want too, right?
Well, but the signals are not clear.
Right.
The code that they're sending gets encoded or decoded, I should say, decoded on their side, and it's not exactly what they intended. And to give you an example, okay, a woman comes home from working, and she opens the front door, and her husband or boyfriend or her companion is there inside the home, and she's in tears. She's so distraught, and she stands there weeping, just weeping. So the guy's looking at this, and he's going, "Geez, my heart is breaking. Honey, what's wrong? What has happened? What happened?" And they're going right into a survival fighting mode.
Fight or flight.
My love. Okay. So they ask her, "Well, honey, what happened? You don't understand. I was at work and he yelled at me because I didn't get something done right. And maybe I lost my job and he just pushed me too far, and he's doing this on a regular basis." And he says, "Your boss?" And she says, "Yeah, my boss." And so now the guy is like furious. So the guy wants to call him up. You bet. Duke's up, man. You know.
Yeah.
And so he wants to call him up and gets it straightened out. Let's find out what's going on. So she's looking at him, and she's going, "You don't understand. No, I don't want you to call him. I don't want you to go over and kick his ass. No, I want you to come over to me, put your arms around me, hold me tight, and let me feel safe again. Because that's who you are for me. You're someone who makes me feel safe. All I want is to feel safe again. I don't want this guy to get what's coming to him and what's due to him. I just want you to hold me and help me with these emotions that I'm feeling." You know, and most guys don't do that because guys are fixer-uppers. Guys
That's right.
solve problems.
That's right.
Going in full blown, going, "You're going to hurt my girl."
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You know, where all she wants is put your arms around me, please.
Yeah.
Just tell me it's going to be okay. So if you can reach that communicative situation, that balance, so many things could be resolved, even personal things in your own relationship. But if you don't understand each other, and you're both in two different worlds, and I think this is actually from a book written years and years ago. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. And
that was a good
example way back then, and somehow stuck with me. I'm not sure why, but so I think that if we just know our position in a relationship and know what our partner needs and their wants are, and the only way we're going to get that is if they communicate them to you. You know, we're not magicians. We're not psychics. You know, we do the best we can do. But communicate those things. So
I think you're right. A lot of times we're just missing. You know, the man is coming this way, or vice versa. The woman's coming in this way, and we say it's communication. But as we talked about in previous shows, it also means that you really have to know yourself first, and then you got to be able to communicate it. And I got to tell you, as a man, I'm going to say this to the ladies out there. We'll say it. You heard it here first. We're dumb. You know, we miss it. Maybe we miss the subtleties. So please just tell us what you're looking for. And for the man, I will tell them, learn from my experience and your experience. Don't think you're always going to be the fixer. Don't do anything. Women are complex now, right? They're intelligent. They can do anything in the world, but they still want to be treated like a woman. It's a horseshoe. Those two ends almost touch. Somehow it seems way different. Let them be who they are. They're intelligent, graceful, awesome creatures. They want to be self-actualized. They want to be able to go out in the working world, but they also want to be able to be home. They want to raise kids. They want to be nurturers. They want to do all that. So communication, I think, is the key. But I think this show, you validated for me, you know, the miss that I've had in the past. And it's a lot of times we're just flying right past each other. We're doing flybys. And I think we got to be bold enough to just say what we need from each other. It's that simple, but it's hard to do, right?
Well, what I also think, and I think comes from this discussion that we just had on this particular show, is make her feel safe.
Yeah.
Let her know that she's safe. For no reason in the world, walk up behind her while she's cooking, or just grab her, take her by the hand when she's doing something else, even if it's washing dishes, as long as you don't get your pants too wet. And lead her over to you and start dancing with her. And just tell her, I'm never going to let anyone, no one will ever hurt you when I'm when I'm with you. And the love that I have for you, no one will reach that. You know, just keep letting her occasionally know that she's safe. And make a big difference. You know,
you talked about this on a previous show, how we touch them and how they want to be touched. It's really important. And in terms of safety, a man just thinks they're walking up and they're grabbing a hold of the woman, grabbing them by the booty or whatever. No. And you've talked about it before. If you're going to give someone a hug, if a woman is feeling like she needs to be safe, don't give her the little pansy, grab her by the waist, keep 6 inches away like you're at the Catholic schoolgirl dance. That's not. If you want them to feel safe and secure, you want to go up, you want to envelope them. You want to get around them, not in a dominating way, but you want them. They like that. They want to feel that. So, I mean, these are really subtle things. I think that for a lot of us guys, it goes right over our head. But I think for the ladies, it's very important. I think those are good points, Dennis. And I didn't know I was going to learn so much on the show from you today.
Oh, my gosh. And
I
said there's hope for you. There is. You know?
I've had my swings and misses. There's no doubt about it. In fact, I think I'm almost at the point where I think to get on base, I just need to lean into a pitch because I'm not getting any hits. But, hey, so a reminder for our viewing audience, though, is out there on YouTube land. On YouTube, make sure you click like on this video if you got anything out of it. We have a lot more great stuff coming. Click subscribe. We would appreciate that. We would appreciate your comments. We would also, you're welcome, and we'd appreciate if you went to our website, www.howlovebites.com, and on there is a contact phone number and additional ways to get a hold of us. We'd like to have show ideas. We have some guests coming on shows in the future, so stick with us. We have a lot more great stuff coming your way. So,
you know, I just wanted to add something to that, and it's really great, Stephen. Thank you for adding all that info and direction, you know, for the people out there. But I remember someone once telling me something about a particular time they were walking up to their grandparents' home, and I believe they were either dropping something off or they were either picking something up. I'm not sure. But these two, this couple, this grandfather and grandmother, were always noted in the family as so loving. I think they had like 50 or 60 years of marriage under their belt. And this person who was a friend of mine actually at the time, and probably still is, but anyway, said that he was walking up and he happened to look into the window outside on the porch because there was music that was being played inside, and happened to see the two people, the grandmother and the grandfather, his grandmother and grandfather, dancing in the living room.
Wow.
In the background, and holding each other so close that they probably didn't even know there was a world around them. So he was he almost backed off and didn't want to ring the bell because he didn't want to ruin that moment. So,
that's awesome.
You know,
and
hard.
Yeah, it's awesome and hard to do that when you're on your smartphone all the time and streaming a TV show and clicking on a computer and
sure is.
You know how to turn all that off and really give focus, and we're all guilty of that. So,
So,
well, thank you for that story. That's very touching.
Thanks for your input. Appreciate it.
You
guys enjoy it. Hope you know there's much more coming, and we're going to start opening it up for phone calls, and we've got some guests coming on in the very near future. Hope you're going to enjoy them, and they're notable. You know, there's Johnny Blavanius he used to work in Wagon in the 15th district. No, he's not going to. But anyway, so we're going to have some notable people, and so behave yourself, and stay tuned, and thanks for joining us. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you for having me.